Dearest reader, a lady of the ton must make the most of every opportunity to take her place in high society. She must strive for perfection and spare no expense in the venture. But what about the rest of us? On occasion, we may find ourselves needing fashionable attire on, dare I say, a budget.
Have you ever watched Bridgerton, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and just fawned over the dresses? If you said yes, 100% me too. I've often wondered what it would be like to live in Regency times. And I imagine that if you were like a part of the upper class, like the bon ton, that it would be pretty dang awesome. Maybe not for everyone else. That said, you still wouldn't have air conditioning, central heat, toothpaste, YouTube. I imagine that the entertainment front would be pretty rough. So I was invited to a Bridgerton Watch Party for season 3, part 1, and was so excited. You were supposed to dress up. There was gonna be a full amazing spread, but the night that it premiered, we had these crazy storms coming to Houston that caused like massive widespread power outages. So it was not meant to be, but I've got time to step up my game. So today we're going to be trying to find a costume that is fit for a Bridgerton watch party. I like to call this selection Bridgerton Light. The biggest thing about all of this is that because this is a costume and not something that I'm gonna be wearing often in my everyday life, I wanted to go a little bit, how do you say, inexpensive, on a budget. But we'll see if there's something among my selection that Lady Whistledown herself would approve of. These items were actually sent to me by SHEIN. I chose the theme, I picked out the items, but they provided them to me at no cost. So let's see if we can have a wonderful early 18th century transformation into a lady. Okay, so we're gonna go least expensive to most expensive. And I've done this a few times, and it's funny because typically the most expensive one is not like hands down the best. Favorites normally fall somewhere in the middle. I really, really want your opinions. This guy is just over $20, and I'm giving you the full price version. There are always sales, but going from full price somehow seems the most fair. What I think sets these apart to where they are appropriate for a Bridgerton viewing party is that most of them are empire waist. And here's the thing. I've had people correct me on empire waist, empire waist, and I looked it up and it turns out that like the French word is empire waist, right? As a plain old American, I'm saying empire. This one is kind of empire waist. It's a little bit of a stretch. It actually kind of curves up under the bust. It is a beautiful blue and white. This one, along with quite a few of them, are much more of a country Regency gown. So this is when our family goes to spend the summer in the country. The back is elasticy and smocked. This is a 4X, and in these brands, a 4X is the equivalent of a 20. I typically wear between a 20 and a 22, and so I do have to size down like out of necessity because that's what we got. It has a tie bust, and we're gonna try her. Not bad for 20 bucks, but I don't know that this one is making the cut for a couple reasons. Now, honestly, I love the sweetheart neckline. I love the print. The fabric's very much kind of like a waffle or gauzy material, but the slit, oh my goodness, y'all, this is so high that it is bordering on obscene. So if I kept this for like everyday wear, it would 100% need to be sewn down like 4 to 6 inches. And then we've got the bust, and the bust has this tie right here, and I had to pull it in with a drawstring, and then it is completely gape in the center. I think it does pretty nice things for my décolletage, but it is a tad scandalizing. The puff sleeves look fantastic. Honestly, I think that if this was for a watch party, it would be delightful. Let me see, I think I've got a bonnet around here somewhere. Mr. Bridgerton, this brings me joy. Now, as dreamy as some of the Bridgertons are, they cannot touch a Mr. Darcy. All right, let's look at the next one. So this one is just under $25, and I thought that it looked a little bit more upscale or fancy, but it is completely a printed fabric. Like you can tell that this is a polyester that's printed, but if we're looking at a costume, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm gonna see if I can find like a little ribbon or something to work as a sash. I'm sure that it came with one. Maybe. I'll tell you in a minute. But I think that like a solid gold or a rhinestone belt would really elevate this one. Okay, so this green one did come with the coordinating sash, but I was able to hop by my modiste and pick up a coordinating ribbon, which I think completely elevates the dress. Honestly, as a costume, I think that this works very, very well, as long as you go in knowing that it is a printed fabric. The sleeves are nice and long. Now, we're not getting a lot of décolletage showing, which could be a good or bad thing, depending upon our audience. It is cut in the Empire waist style, and then I'm 5'10", and it comes, maybe about 5 inches above my ankle. So I do think that this would give you plenty of room for dancing. Everything in this is elastic. There are absolutely no closures. And so, like I said, as long as you know what you're in for, I may not be invited to the ball, but I could probably pull it off at a watch party. Let's look at number 3. This one is actually the same price as the green, and this one seems much, much better constructed. It's fully lined. The outside is like a crepe organza. It has 2 layers on the arms. It has a full zip in the back, a sweetheart neckline, and these little blue flowers on cream are just lovely. And it seems like it's a smidge longer as well. I could happily take a long ramble in the woods in this dress, as long as it fits. Let's see. All right, the quality of this one is like 100% higher than either of the last two. Those two varied quite a bit from one another, but the first one did not have any lining, and it was a much more modern take. And then the last one was that printed fabric. This one is totally giving Elizabeth Bennet going to tend to her sister at Netherfield, minus the petticoat being 6 inches deep in the mud, and that is probably because I do not have a petticoat. This is a little bit longer than the last, but not a whole lot. I don't know that the silhouette is incredibly flattering on me, but I do think if I was choosing between just these 3, this one would be the one, hands down. And at $25, all right, let's see. Here we are starting to approach the $30 mark, and this is a sweet little eyelet. It looks like a cotton eyelet with embroidery, but it still is made of polyester. It is solid white, and then it has these really pretty little rosebuds all over it. This came in several different colors with different colored buds. I think you could get them in purple, you could get them in yellow, you could get it in blue. I just thought that this was very sweet. This is also a country dress, but on our budget, it looks like we are having this viewing party at the country house. Okay, do you know the scene in the 2005 Keira Knightley, Matthew McFadden, Pride and Prejudice, where she's standing at Pemberley and there's the window behind her and you can kind of see through the dress and you see the slip, and it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. The slip comes to here, you can totally see it through, and for some reason, anytime I can see a slip showing, that is what comes to mind. I don't know why, and I could possibly have thought it a wardrobe flaw before that movie, but now I think of it as a Regency asset. This is really, really pretty, and I think that it's very flattering on. I don't think that this one has to be a costume. I think it could totally be an awesome casual dress. This also has the hole, kind of like that first one, but it is fully lined. It has to be because of all the holes. Let me show you the back. I feel like I'm ready to do a quadrille. I'll have to watch back and see if I like this one or the blue one better, but they're totally way above the others. I think that this is great. Perhaps the chest hole brings this one slightly below for me. This is very reminiscent of that third one that had the cream with the blue flowers, in that it is fully lined. This one feels like a higher quality style dress. It does not look like it's got a slit, which I approve of for this setting. This has really nice large chiffon balloon sleeves, which I think is lovely. And then the print is just a really tiny, almost calico floral in like greens and bluish teals. The bust is quite a bit different from any of the others. It still is cut under the bust, but you see the cup outlines. So I don't know what it's gonna do, but there's only one way to find out. Okay, this one is not quite as on theme, but I love it. I mean, and maybe I shouldn't say that. And I think that what it is the waistline comes a little lower, but it starts right under my bust, just like the rest of them. I feel like this one would be really great for like a little country jig. Normally, I don't think of Regency style dresses having this much down at the bottom, but I'll totally take it. And like I said, we are doing Regency light around here. Honestly, this would be a perfect summer dress for modern times. It does not have any crazy slits. There's nothing too revealing. I like the sweetheart neckline. I think that the sleeves are just really, really pretty, and I like the print. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we've only got 2 more, and they're maybe a little more fancy. I don't know, your call. So this one cracks the $30 mark, and this one felt like it is trying to be more fancy than the rest. I feel like we could maybe pull off a ball in this one as long as we are standing away from the crowd a little bit. It does look like something that one of the meddling mamas would totally wear while scoping out her daughter's prospects. Okay, to my eye, this one is absolutely fantastic. If I was going to the party today, I would 100% wear this one and I would feel like I was ready for the ball. This one does have a zipper. It's probably the most well-made in the bunch. We've got gathering over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's difficult because it's like dark on dark, but the gathering just adds a whole lot to it. Bringing it this way, I think it does very good things to, I don't know, like distract from my stomach, not hide my stomach, but just to lay nicely on it, I suppose. And then I think the belt is really lovely as well. My one thing that I would like is I wish that the belt went all the way around to the back. See, it stops right here under my arms. And the same with these straps, though, since they begin here, I suppose ending on my shoulder is all right. The arms are very similar to this. In fact, actually they are, this overlay right here. This is a sheer, stretchy, almost metallic blue, and the arms are made of the same thing. I don't know, this one just feels very elegant. It surprised me. Whenever I opened it out of the bag, I thought, ooh, that one is super costumey. On, maybe a little costumey, but in all the right ways. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the last one. It's the most expensive, and I just get to show you. The full price on this one is $44. And y'all, what this looks like to me is kind of like Gone with the Wind. Miss Scarlet didn't have a lot of money, and so she needed to make her dress out of draperies. But we're now in the Bridgerton house, and Lady Bridgerton does not want her curtains messed with. So you need to go down to the parsonage. It's like a full-out tapestry dress. It's got box pleats. I don't really know what it's going to do. I really don't know what made me think of it. I think it was probably just the empire waist, but yeah, we're gonna try. Okay, I do not think that we are in the middle of a save the best for last situation here, but this is an incredibly well-made dress. I think I'd be relegated to Penn's realm of being a complete wallflower, except her dresses are fantastic. I would need more yellow. It's just so plain. I really like the sleeves. Everything about this is understated. It comes a little bit low than a typical empire waist dress, and then we've got box pleats. It comes out very nicely. I could spend a lot of time dancing in it, but it is 100% like a tapestry, drapery style fabric. I want to see if I can elevate this. Hold on. Okay, so it's not the most dramatic transformation I've ever seen, but I do think that it makes the dress stand out a little bit better in a better way. This is just like a rhinestone belt that would go on like a wedding dress, that kind of thing, or a formal. And I think that it does nice things. Like, honestly, when I received this dress, I thought, ooh, that one is going to be bad. And she's not that bad. I don't think she's my top choice, but she's probably in the top half. Okay, on that note, let's see what we have and where I'd rank them. Okay, so as far as like least favorite goes, these first two, the blue and white floral and then the green and gold, they just didn't really do it for me. I thought they were fine. Had they been the only ones I'd tried on, they could have worked, but there was better stuff out there. I think probably next in my least favorite would be this green, really pretty, but there were just better options. And then probably this one. I think it's made a little bit better than the green. In fact, it's made a little bit better than most of these. This might be the best made of all of them, but it just doesn't excite me enough. So I'm not throwing it over there because I'm wearing it and that'd just be weird. I then have this really, really pretty blue, and then the Eyelet floral. And I think the Eyelet floral might win, but only by a slight margin in my eyes. And then I think my favorite, if we're looking at a costume party, is absolutely the navy. I'd love to know your thoughts. I also am interested in doing like a more formal version of this. I've seen places online like that have like Regency-style dresses in the plus size that are a little bit more ball worthy. If you're interested in that, please let me know. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and commenting down below. If you like this kind of content, I would love if you would stick around and hit the subscribe button. I typically do plus size fashion in all different price ranges like City Chic, Torrid, Walmart, TJ Maxx, SHEIN. I try and get the gamut so I can fit everyone's budget and what we're all looking for. The best way to support me, and I know I always say this, but is doing exactly what you're doing now by watching my video. And so thank you so much for being amazing. I appreciate the heck out of you, and I will see you in the next one.